Hello friends, my name is Colin. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm riding back from an incredible trip I had where I just rode close to 2,000 miles, or will be that once I get home in a couple hours. I did Virginia, and then I also did Tennessee. And so I went to a place called Tazewell, Virginia, and they had an event called VAM, which was Virginia Area Motorcycle Meetup. And I'd say there was probably like, I think 80 or 90. It was a great time. And I went there for a couple days, met a bunch of friends down there. We got an Airbnb, had some epic adventures, and did a ton of roads. I did the Back of the Dragon. We did the Snake. That is one freaking badass road. And then we went to Tennessee. Took a couple friends with mine, and that was Pete's 1800 and Ty from Tennessee. We stayed like 4 or 5 days in a cabin in New Tazewell, Tennessee. So there's Tazewell, Virginia, and then there's New Tazewell, Tennessee. And they're about 3 hours apart. And then we rode all the roads out there. So all the traditional ones, Cherahalla, Foothills Parkway, the new section, which I love, by the way. We ended up doing the tail. And I'm going to be doing several videos coming up here on my trip. But the point of this video today is to talk about how this thing did. And I'm going to go over some positives, and then I'm going to go over some things that happened and let you guys know. So when I first originally started planning this trip, I thought about it, and I have a choice where I could do the Street Glide Special, which I've done on many trips, or I could do this one. You know, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try the Pan America and see how it does. And man, I am happy as hell I did it. Just from the positive standpoint, this thing does incredible in the Twisties. I mean, insane. I was so freaking impressed. I mean, I know it's cliche, but when you hear this thing like glides like it's on rails, it does. I've never had that much fun doing corners and curves and twisties, benders, whatever the hell you want to call them. And all the different sections, from the Back of the Dragon to the Snake to the tail. This thing, it's insane, man. It's totally insane. And then now, when you ride this thing, there are several ride modes. I think a lot of people already know that, but I traditionally ride probably 95% of the time with road mode. And I did that in this trip too. I rode in a lot of, 25 miles per hour, are you kidding me? Who does that in a city, 25? I better, these small towns, they'll probably pull you over. They need to make some money somehow. But anyway, I stuck in road mode through most of it, and it still did well. The only one road that I did in sport mode was the Tail of the Dragon. Opposite, or kind of contrary to me, is Pete's 1800, who also has a Pan America, and he kept it, all the roads, he kept it in sport. I don't know, sport mode's great. It's fast as hell. It's a little twitchy for me, so I kind of keep it in road.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Virginia 20
so
North
just
Berry
from
Hill
a
Road.
standpoint of just the way it rode out there, it was incredible. I think the second thing that I was really impressed with was the braking. I talked about the acceleration. I talked about like how it handles on curves. But the brakes on this thing are amazing.
Turn right onto Virginia 20 North Berry Hill Road.
Very well. Knowing all the roads that we did, and we did hundreds of miles of these curvy roads, which does take a toll on your body, by the way. It's definitely not highway riding.
Continue on Virginia 20
going
North
in and out of these curves,
miles.
and you're hitting the brakes, and this thing just stopped on a dime. I was very, very impressed with it. The ride down here wasn't bad. I mean, it did great in traffic, especially when you're around the 18-wheelers. Now, that's going to be a negative here in a second, and I'll tell you why. But just roll-on power was insane. I mean, like, once you got into, like, 4th or 5th, you just touch it and you just pass everybody. Okay, the things that I didn't dig. Now, here's the thing. I actually did a video a while back about the things that I really like about this bike. And one of the things I mentioned was the seat. And I said, oh, yeah, actually, I usually, whenever I have a bike, I think this is my 4th bike now. I've always changed out the seat. Stock usually suck with Harley. And I've always changed out. I got a Mustang on my Street Glide Special. Freaking totally love that seat. Anyway, when I rode this, I think the maximum amount I rode one day was close to 300 miles. And it really didn't bother me that much. It's like, it's not bad. I mean, it's not super comfy, but it's not horrible. I could easily do it. But once I got on the highway and I started doing a lot of miles, you know, because like the trip down here overall, I think to Tazewell is close to 400, Tazewell, Virginia, and then New Tazewell, I think it's like ends up being like 520. So once you get past that like 300 mile mark, I was starting to feel it. It really was painful. I had to move around a lot. I had to stop a little bit more. Now I do have a bad back, but still nonetheless, I think this seat, I might have to look into maybe like something a little bit more softer, because overall, I mean, I was, you know, I changed my mind on it. I thought I was going to like it, but after riding a lot of miles, I realized that not so much. The other thing I didn't like, and I was alluding to it a minute ago with the truck, you know, obviously, you know, you don't have a fairing, you know, on this thing, or, you know, like a road glide fairing or a street glide fairing. Once you get up to 90, okay, I shouldn't say that, because I was riding on knobbies. I do have knobby tires. I got the 50/50 Anarchy Wilds, which I'll go in a second about that. But this windshield blows, man. And so like after like 80 to 90 range, it was really going crazy. And I didn't like that. So I'm going to look into like an aftermarket, because I normally don't go 90 on the back roads of my area I live in. And I've hit 75, 80 on the highway before, but once I got up a little bit higher, I started realizing I'm not digging this. So the other thing this bike did, threw some codes. And what that means basically is like if I started the bike too quick. So normally you want to let it cycle through. And if I start it too quick, it'll pop up a code and it said no, it won't let you put it in a ride mode. Okay, simple fix. You turn it off and on. That's the fix. I mean, it shouldn't happen, but I mean, there was like 3 codes. I cleared them all. And it was just like it triggered something. I thought I got it fixed with a software update about 3 months ago. That's the first time that's happened, but it actually happened twice. And it was pissing me off. But it still ran. But as soon as I stopped, I just turned it off and on, and then it all went away. So like overall, man, I'm super pleased I took this bike. I really am. In hindsight, if I were to do it again, I wouldn't have put the 50/50 tires on it. Originally, when I bought 50/50, I thought, well, you know what, it does good on the street, but I'm going to try to do more dirt. Well, those 50/50s are more designed for maybe like 70% dirt or off-road and then maybe 30% street. You know, while they did great in the Twisties and they did great on the pavement, they eat through tread quickly. So like I might only get maybe 5,000 to 7,000 miles on that thing, where I might get like 4,000 or 5,000 more if I just had the stock ones. Now we did do some dirt. We did do some dirt at this both trips, or both stops at Tazewell and in New Tazewell, Tennessee. And these did great. So I was glad I had them for that. But is it worth the money to kind of do that? I don't know. I mean, it's all personal preference. It all depends on what kind of riding you do. Eventually, I mean, I still have the stock tires in my garage. I just swapped them out. You know, a couple people that we talked to out there, we ran into a Harley dealer. Like, why don't you just get a new set of rims? I'm like, yeah, and then just like keep swapping them out. I'm like, yeah, I don't have like a tire machine in my garage, dude. But that's it. I mean, that's it. I mean, I wanted to share with you guys overall how this thing did on a almost 2,000 mile trip, and through some different types of roads, a lot of twisties, some dirt, and man, I couldn't be more pleased. I was very, very happy with it. You know, I mean, I've got some idiosyncrasies, the things that bother me, and you know, I could fix them with the seat and the windshield. The codes, what are you gonna do? You know, but talking to Pete, who also has a Pan Am, I mean, he was happy as hell, man. We had miles of smiles, man. I mean, going through those roads on this thing, it's just so damn powerful, and just with everything, oh man, it was great. It was absolutely great. So look out for those videos coming soon of the different trips and the different roads, because man, I just had such an incredible time. And as always, you know, I had a chance to hang out with some great friends. And you know, unfortunately, we didn't have everybody that could join this year. My 2 good buds from the Fireside Chat, Bob wasn't able to go this year due to a prior commitment, and Jack was only able to go to the first one. So I definitely missed them in Tennessee. But I had a great time with the other guys, and that's what it's all about, man. It's just riding with friends and discovering great roads and living life. That's what it's all about. Now get out there and ride, everybody. Be well, and I'll talk to you guys soon.